Hey everyone, ArdrethShadow here, and welcome back to Doki Doki Blue Skies. So previously I got started on the game, which has been very much fleshed out from the original game. And I was trying my hand at Natsuki's route, so let's see if I'm on the right track here. Daniel, fancy meeting you here. Yeah, what a coincidence, huh? You know, you and me meeting in the same club room for the club that we're both a part of. Imagine that, huh? Seriously speaking, though, I'm happy to see you back here. I would have been disappointed if you ran away on us. Hey, I enjoyed myself last time, so why wouldn't I come back? True enough. Feel free to make yourself at home before we start on our club activities. Thanks, will do. Well, I'm back at the Literature Club. Sayori and I were the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Oh, Daniel! I'm glad to see you here again. Who knew that something so simple would warrant so much thanks? First Monica, and now Yuri. I know that it might be overwhelming to be thrown in a new hobby so suddenly, much less an organization centered around that hobby. So don't hesitate to let me know if you ever need any help. Or any other club member for that matter. That is to say, feel free to ask any one of us for assistance. Right, thanks. I'll keep that in mind. Don't worry, though. It's not like I've never read anything before. Yeah, because I was joking when I said, I don't read books. I even remembered to write a poem for today, if you'll believe it. Yup, I slammed in 20 random words. At least 80% of them were words that I think Natsuki would like. We'll believe it when we see it. Speak of the devil. Hey, it's not like I need to have a university degree to write a poem. Yeah. It's like, have you ever tried to transform Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime, the leader class toy? You need an engineering degree just to learn how to transform that thing. So it's like, yeah, compared to that, poetry writing is much more doable. It's like, even I could do it. Well, back in the day in high school, yes, I did have to write several poems. Especially one for math that a lot of my peers actually liked. It was a poem about linear equations, of all things. It was like another school assignment, although it might be a little new to me. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to write a bad poem, you mean? She's got me there. Well, it's not that hard to make a bad movie, either. You made a bad movie, Rian Johnson! Okay, well. And that's why I never said I wrote a good poem. Oh, there you go. It's like, I wrote a poem, but I never said it was a good poem. So it's like, I'm doing the bare minimum here. Natsuki smirks at me, seemingly pleased that I'm not offended by her teasing. Well, good is often subjective when it comes to subjects like these. Okay. I'm sure you did fine, Daniel. It's like good is just a point of view. Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. Try not to overhype my work, though. Like how I got overhyped for The Last Jedi, and then when I saw it, I felt empty and sad inside. It's like, that's what'll happen if you overhype yourself. Once you finally experience what you've been waiting for and it turns out to be, like, not what you expected, it's like, yeah. It's like, wow, I did 2 burns on Rian Johnson in one video. Yeah, Yuri, if you keep your expectations low enough, you'll never be disappointed. Exactly. If I had gone into The Last Jedi with low expectations, I probably would have been okay. Although my expectations were an all-time low for Rise of Skywalker, and, well, I could make a rant video about that in itself. Besides, I bet this is the first extracurricular Daniel's done since high school started. So extra work is probably really foreign to him. Are you calling me lazy? Again, she's not wrong, but she doesn't have to say it like that. Natsuki, you're being unfairly harsh. Daniel, what would you say your main hobbies are? Wow, she's really putting me on the spot here. I know I'm playing into your teasing right now, but yes, I spend a lot of time playing games and watching anime. And that's all you need to know. That's a bit rich coming from someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. What? Natsuki sputters to a halt. Looks like a certain someone knows how to dish it out, but can't take it. Manga is literature! Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Daniel always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He's always been there when I need it. When we were kids, he'd always be around to help me with stuff. Oh, are you two childhood friends? I glance at Sayori, despite her cheery recollection of our childhood memories. Just then, Yuri's question is a reminder that we haven't spent much time together in a long time. It's a tad awkward. So, you haven't told them about me, have you? Sayori, how could you? Okay, no. Yeah, we've known each other for a while, haven't we? We smile at each other. I'm really hoping we can use this club to reconnect. Well, unfortunately, I'm kind of gonna throw a wrench in that plan. Don't worry, I'm gonna save Sayori for last, because that's typically how I kind of do things. Such a history with one another. I imagine you shared much together. You could say that. Would you believe Yuri? Would you believe Sayori is still as clumsy now as she was 10 years ago? Grumpy. Hey, meanie, that's not true. Oh, need I tell Yuri about the time you tried to cook lunch and almost set the house on fire? Her face turns pink as she rushes to interrupt me. Anyway, I'm sure you two could be just as good friends. After all, you're both in the literature club now. Yeah, well, I will after I get through with Natsuki. Yeah, look forward to it. Or at least that's what I'm intending. Yuri looks hopeful at hearing this, although I can't help but wonder. What if it snowed in San Francisco? Okay, no. Given the maturity and intelligence she carries so elegantly, and how her passion for reading is much stronger than my own, will it be as easy as Sayori thinks it is? I don't know. Still, it's worth a try at least. Yay! So happy. Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know. Oh, wait, Sayori! Me? It's not much, really. Don't be shy. It's nothing, really. Or, it's really nothing. Whatever it is, I'm sure I'll like it. What is it, Yuri? It's a banana. Okay, no. This is a Monica After story. Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. Is it a Blu-ray copy of The Last Jedi? Okay. What is it with me today? I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking about that movie a lot today. I was going to wait to give it to you at the appropriate time, but... I'm sorry, Yuri, I wasn't thinking. Now I've ruined the surprise. Surprise. The two girls both look dolefully down. Aww. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue this situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. So this is a pleasant surprise to me. Just knowing that you went through the effort to get me something makes me feel really welcomed. No matter what, I'm sure it'll make me happy. Is that so? Oh, of course! Of course. Thanks for being so considerate, Yuri. You're welcome. It was the least I could do. Anyway, if that's the case, here it is. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention, even if you don't usually read. And we could, you know, discuss it if you want it. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? It's a skill for Yuri. Or actually, no, maybe she's born with it. Okay. She even picked out a book she thinks I might possibly like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, but I'm abruptly cut off by Natsuki. Uh-oh. It's like, yeah, this is different. You didn't want him to feel left out. What's that supposed to mean? Are you trying to say he doesn't like my books or something? Because that's just not true. He freaking loves manga, just like me. Right, Daniel? It looks like another Yuri-Natsuki argument is cropping up again. I glance over at Yuri to find a variety of different emotions running over her face. She seems conflicted between standing up for herself and backing down to keep the peace. After a beat, she opens her mouth to speak, her resolve strengthened. Natsuki, that's not what I meant to say at all. I was simply referring to the fact that Daniel might not have much of a literature collection himself, given that he said he is not that much of a reader. Giving him a book is a totally different genre. Giving him a book in a totally different genre would benefit him in broadening his knowledge of the literary world. Yuri suddenly appears to notice that all eyes are on her. Stop looking at me! Okay, well, I can't do Yuri's voice like that. I apologize if I worded that too harshly. No, you're fine, Yuri. Well, I definitely do love manga. I think that it'd do me well to read different things, too, once in a while. Seeming to sense that she can't win the argument, Natsuki almost visibly backs down. Her outspoken nature really does make up for her physically small stature. Whatever. Natsuki? Guys, let's stop fighting! Everyone has their own super good taste in literature, so we shouldn't keep arguing over it. Stop it! Stop it! Can't you see your arguing's gonna tear us all apart? Okay, no. Saying that on the mic. I'm sure I'll enjoy everyone's recommendations equally as much. After all, you guys are all smart, and definitely more experienced in literature than me. Because I don't read books. I'm just gonna say that I wasn't trying to attack you or whatever. Attack me or attack Yuri? It's just that there are a lot of people who judge manga without even trying to read it themselves. So yeah. I guess that's the closest we'll get to an apology from Natsuki. Okay. And with that, the tension of the room slowly dissipates. It feels as though everyone in the room was holding their breath until now. Yuri quietly hands me the copy of the book she's holding. Is this going to be the book that she gives us, but then we never ever revisit ever again later on in the story? Well, thanks, Yuri. You're welcome. You should read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. And by that, I know that you're never ever going to finish this book and will never ever refer to this again in the story. After a brief pause, the girls move on to do their own things. Man, I seem to be a harbinger of awkwardness when it comes to Natsuki and Yuri. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monika to kick off the scheduled activities for the club. It's like, congratulations, we've created a weird love triangle between Natsuki, Yuri, and myself. Like the poetry thing, I've already steeled myself for the critique I'll probably be receiving. Like, it sucks, or it's fake. But it seems that we have some downtime before then. Oh well, looks like I won't be able to immediately get it over with. What are the others doing right now? Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner, probably discussing club matters, given that they're the president and vice president. As expected, Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Oh boy, 3 a.m! Or, well, the SpongeBob joke of, who waits until 3 a.m. or who goes out for a Krabby Patty at 3 a.m. in the morning? And then Patrick, like he's been waiting for this the whole time. Oh boy, 3 a.m! Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. Now she's rummaging around in the closet. After a few huffs of annoyance sound from her direction every once in a while. Now she's getting annoyed in the closet. Now I'm going up to the closet. Ugh. I hear a sigh from the closet, presumably Natsuki. It sounds like she's annoyed by something. I approach her, curious. Hey, is something wrong? Fricking Monica. She moved my stuff again. I spend all this time organizing... I spend all this time organizing my collection, and she comes in and ruins it. As she complains, Natsuki carefully slides boxes and stacks of books across the shelf. Once they're in an orderly fashion, she turns around to face me. Do you have any manga? Oh yeah. Or do you have my manga? Do you have my manga? Oh yeah, here, let me get it. I quickly retrieve the book Natsuki lent me yesterday and hand it to her. She examines the cover and pages, looking for any sort of damage. After finding nothing, she slides the novel into its rightful place in one of the boxes. I told you I'd take care of my manga. Yeah, don't let it get to your head. You still need to pass the quiz before we can start the next one. I hope I don't have to take the quiz because I don't know anything about Parfait Girls. Parfait Girls is different in every single mod. You were serious? What, you thought I was joking? Here at the Literature Club, we take reading very seriously. It's like reading. It's serious business. It's like someone should make a poster like that. Now sit down and get ready. Oh boy, I really hope I don't have to take a test. Alright. I sit down at a desk while Natsuki sits parallel from me. Alright, first question. Which girl ends up falling down the stairs in Chapter 7? I really didn't get that far. So you admit it. You didn't finish it all the way. Oh, yep. I knew she wasn't going to be too happy about that. She wanted you to finish it. In time for the next club meeting, right? The expression that comes over Natsuki's face honestly scares me a little. Only a little? What? How did you not finish? The first volume is like the shortest one The first volume is like the shortest one out of all of them. I'm sorry. I was working on my poem for most of the night, so I didn't have time to read it. Yeah, I was like, do you know how long it takes to think up of 20 different words and have them appeal to you the most? Natsuki's expression changes from that of anger to disbelief. I bet she's never felt such a sense of pity and indigestion. Your poem? Yeah, I, put some effort into it. Natsuki eyeballs me suspiciously before sighing. Ugh, fine, I guess we can read it here. But your poem better be really good. Hopefully. As long as 80% of the poem is enough to impress you, I'm fine. Because I know the other 20% was for Sayori, at least. Yeah. I have little experience with writing in general, much less poems. So I fear that Natsuki will only get angrier with me once she sees my lackluster writing abilities. But that's a problem we'll deal with later. Right now, I have to finish Volume 1 of Parfait Girls. Okay, well at least I didn't have to take a test. Natsuki heads to the closet to retrieve the novel once again. She comes back, manga in hand, and points to the floor. We're gonna sit here. What? Why? 'Cause it's a lot easier than trying to read in chairs. That doesn't really make any sense. Just do it, okay? No need to argue over every little thing. Just do it! Just do it! I wasn't arguing. I stopped myself short when I realized I'm probably just getting on Natsuki's nerves. And then she will smack me upside the head. Because she might be small, but I bet she's a scrapper. If possible, I'd like to try and avoid making her angry. I'm probably thinking of like what Yuri said. Like, I may be small, but I'm scrappy. Alright. Okay, and here we are at a familiar scene. I sit down next to Natsuki while she hands me the novel. I flip open to the part where I left off, but Natsuki speaks up before I can begin. You only got that far? So grumpy. Well, I may have watched some anime last night too. So you admit, you're a cheater! Natsuki furrows her eyebrows at me. I quickly start reading to avoid another scolding. Yes, dear. Still. Does this have, like, an overarching plot of some sort? Of course it does, dummy! What, you think I don't... What, you think I don't have good taste? I have standards, you know. Hey, I never said that I didn't think you had good taste. It's just... Nothing has really happened yet. It's just one-off side stories so far. It's to world build. Well, that's just to help you get to know the characters. See? Like the chapter where they're shopping at the mall, it gives you a better idea of what each of the girls like and don't like. There is an overarching plot, but the first volume is more like an introduction to the characters. So, yeah, world building. I've read the entire series, so I do know what happens. Alright, I guess I'll take your word for it. You sure do like this series, don't you? Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I can see why. It does have a lot of baking in it. It does, yeah. Coincidence? Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't start baking just because of this manga. Dummy. Don't worry, I believe you. Not. Well, I guess that at least explains Natsuki's interest in baking. She is really good at it, though. So it's not like it's a bad thing. We continue to read for a while before I reach the end of the novel. As I close the book, Natsuki snatches it from my hands and heads for the closet. Now she's going up to the closet. Now we're going back to the closet. She places the novel in its rightful spot and digs around for the second volume. So, did you enjoy it? Yeah, I did actually. It's a bit slow right now, but if what you say is true, it'll start getting good in the second volume. So we believe. Speaking of which, Natsuki proudly holds up the second volume. Let's get started. Wait, already? Okay, everyone. It's time to share poems. If that isn't good timing, I don't know what is. Ugh, seriously? We were just about to start the second one. It's like, there's that familiar Monica pose. Well, you can always read it tomorrow, can't you? Fine. Natsuki, defeated, puts her manga back in the closet and retrieves her poem. So I guess I don't have to take this one home with me. I grab mine from my bag as well. By the way, you did remember to write a poem, right? It too, Monica? Don't worry, I'm not that much of a slacker. I've got it right here in my bag. Oops, where'd it go? I rifle through some stray papers to pull out the page that I wrote my poem on. While I can't help but feel a little nervous, I have to admit that I'm excited now. Talking to these girls has really calmed my nerves, and now I'm just eager to share my poem. After all, judging by each girl's personality, I doubt that anyone would say anything nasty about it. Except maybe Natsuki. Well, kind of, maybe, I don't know. Well, Natsuki... okay. I don't know if she'd be unduly harsh, though. She just seems like the type of person who enjoys ribbing on her friends. Yeah, she does it because she loves them. Because we love you! Either way, I hope they realize that I put hard work into it. I figured that it'd only be fair to repay their warm welcome by showing effort in the club activities. Now that everyone's ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait. I can't wait. Sayori and Monika enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Natsuki, Monika wrote hers in a neat black composition notebook. I can already see Monika's pristine handwriting from where I sit. She's gonna put us all to shame. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. Okie dokie. So... I would like to imagine, like in the original game, it doesn't really matter which order I go in, but... well, since I'm trying to get brownie points with Natsuki, no pun intended, I'll start with her. I told Natsuki I was interested in her poems yesterday. It's probably only fair if I shared mine with her first. Well, as long as it doesn't screw me over and... at some point, I forget which event, but she does actually, like, take it home with her, and you're kind of SOL, like, oh great, now I can't share it with Yuri. Anyways... Earth to Natsuki? What? Hey, don't make it seem like I'm spacing out. Just... okay, let's start with what I don't like. Okay, good. This'll be like Cinema Sins. First of all, Natsuki rereads the poem again. You spelled chin wrong. Actually, never mind. I don't feel like giving you my opinion. Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of this, though? Then what's the point in sharing at all? Exactly. Don't literature clubs, like, share constructive criticism or something? No, it's just... Natsuki fails to come back with the follow-up. No snappy comeback? She's obviously uncomfortable about something. But from what I've seen, it's certainly not giving out criticism. Hey, this is my first time sharing poems too. It's a bit uncomforting for all of us, yeah, but we should still try and help each other. It's not that. I'd feel more comfortable if your poem was really bad. Oh, really now? I could be like, not that bad, but here's what not that bad, but here's the work of a real poet. Here's what the work of a real poet looks like. But, oh, I understand what she means now. She's uncomfortable because she liked my poem and doesn't know how to complain to me, to compliment me. Or maybe she doesn't know how to complain to you either. I get what you mean. Natsuki looks relieved at my statement. Can I see your poem now? Ugh, fine. Only because Monika is gonna make me either way. Oh wait, this is new. Sometimes. Some folks are winners, some only lose. Some are go-getters, some only cruise. Sometimes we try hard and give it our all. Sometimes we give up. What else can we do? Okay, so this is pretty much like the Eagles Can Fly poem. It has the same structure, and then it kind of falls flat at the end. Okay, well. Told you you'd hate it. Actually, I like it. What? Don't just say that because I'm a girl. Or, don't just say it's good because I'm a girl. Be honest. What? No, it has nothing to do with you being a girl. I genuinely like the poem. Really? No. I mean, yes. Yeah, it's simple, but it's pretty effective. Finally, someone who gets it. People in high school think poetry has to be so formal and vague. But they don't realize that simple writing is just as effective, if not more. The reader shouldn't have to search for the meaning. That's just stupid. Besides, the simpler the writing, the more emphasis on wordplay. Which is exactly what she did here, as well as in the Eagles Can Fly poem from the original game. Like how I made most of the lines start with some. Yeah, I noticed that. Made the last couplet seem more powerful. Yes, that's exactly what I was going for. Well, good job then. Huh, didn't expect that from the youngest of the club, did ya? Yeah, guess not. Okie dokie. I'll go with Yuri now. Yuri stares at the poem. Is it that bad? A minute passes. More than enough time for her to finish reading. Is everything okay? Oh, goodness! Sorry. I know what I want to convey, but I need to find the right words. I have that problem too, so don't worry. I understand. Take your time. Okay, I think I know what I want to say. Do you have any prior writing experience? To be honest, not really. Is it that obvious? No, I don't mean to be I don't mean to be rude, but I guess that it might be after reading through it. You hate it, don't you? So it's that bad. No! Did I just raise my voice? I'm so sorry. Yuri buries her face in her hands. I couldn't help but notice that it's been several minutes I couldn't help but notice that it's been several minutes, and we really haven't gotten anywhere. Yuri seems to be incredibly introverted. Like me. Well, IRL. It must take her a long time to warm up to new people. Like me. Don't worry about it. We'll start somewhere, right? Or we all start somewhere, right? What were you saying? Right, I've just noticed a few qualities consistent with newer writers that showed up in your poem. Perhaps what stands out the most is that you've tried very hard to make the structure of this poem your own. And that's okay, but if this is the first poem you've written, it might be prudent to consider more traditional structures, couplets, sonnets, haiku, and the like. But if you're not confident in your writing style, it'll show in your piece. It's like Yuri's a totally different person when she gets going. Because she's a genius! She sounds incredibly confident and stands tall, speaking clearly. Again, that's not your fault. I think that once you've studied poetic structure and techniques a bit more, you'll be able to put together a truly wonderful composition. I appreciate the feedback, Yuri. It sounds like you're well versed in this sort of thing. Would it be okay if I take a look at what you've written? Oh goodness, of course! Of course! Please let me know what you think. I'd be thrilled to explain my process. Yuri smiles dreamily, as if it's a rare opportunity for her. Sounds dreamily. Which is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Okay. Likewise, I'm gonna guess that all of these poems that we're gonna see are brand new compared to the original game. Tumble. Hail follows down like discarded dust of overused emotions. dragging down blankets made of want. Slender string pieces my eyelids, barely painful, and pulls them shut. Even so heavy. I think I've misplaced something. Is there a piece missing? You need all the pieces to fix something. Please don't look for it. There are more important things for you to do today. I'm sorry if my writing's a bit illegible. Well, not really. I mean, I did have to kind of pause a little bit and, like, what does that word look like? Once my pen touches the page, I just want to get my thoughts down. It's fine, Yuri. I was able to read just fine. I wasn't thinking that at all. Are you sure? It seemed to take you a while to read it. Really? It only took me like 30 seconds. Well, I guess I don't see cursive that often. But it's really nice when I do. Your writing's actually quite pretty. Is that so? I'm glad you think so. You made your poem stand out even more as well. It's as though your handwriting fits your word choice, or vice versa. It was too short, wasn't it? I'm used to writing longer pieces, but since this is the first time we're sharing, I thought it would be easier to share. That makes sense. Do you mind telling me what it's about, though? I'm not sure I understand. Sorry, I didn't mean to write something confusing. Oh, it's not that. I just want to be sure I'm reading it properly. I see. I suppose from a cursory glance it might not be obvious. But part of what makes poetry magical is how you can conjure up a vivid image with your words. While on the surface it might seem a bit out there, if you look a little deeper, you might be able to find a deeper meaning hidden amongst the lines, compounded by the metaphors used. For example, the words and images in this poem aren't meant to be taken at face value. In actuality, it's supposed to represent the last remnants of something lost to the past, and the sense of plaintive longing that comes with it. I see. Huh. That's pretty impressive when you put it that way. Oh, I wouldn't go that far. But thanks for the compliment. Hopefully during your time here, your understanding of poetry will grow, and these things will come to you naturally. I'll do my best. Thanks for sharing with me, Yuri. Of course! Oh, of course! Okay. Sorry, that's a force of habit, and old habits die hard. Okay, I'll go with Sayori. You said this is your first poem, right? Yeah, why? It impressed me. Especially for your first poem. Maybe this is really the place for you. Ah, come on, it's not that good. Yeah, and besides, only 20% of this poem was for you. I mean, it's not like I'm used to writing poems or anything. But thanks, I guess. Don't be so hard on yourself, Daniel. Everyone has to start from somewhere. Yeah, that's what I said to Yuri. It's like, have you been listening in on our conversation? You're already off to a good start. Oh, well, then again, I mean, I think you can have these in any order, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, I guess I can show you mine now. Don't expect too much, though. I'm not very good at this. Only one way to find out. Dear Sunshine. Okay, well this is actually the same from the original game. Dear Sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me. Kiss my forehead to help me out of bed. Make me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever, but I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Okay, now that I think about it, I wish I could remember the original poem. Because this, at least this time around, it seems a little more on the nose here. And also ironic, blue sky, Doki Doki blue skies. And then rainy day, like Doki Doki rain clouds, another mod. Well, what did you think? I hesitate as I answer. It's not that it was a bad poem. In fact, it was great. I'm just really inexperienced with poetry, especially feedback. It's really you. What's that supposed to mean? Her face. It's like, I just love Sayori. As in, the poem just really reminds me of you. It made me feel really good inside. Really? No. Another force of habit. Yeah, I had no idea what to expect, as this is my first time reading your poetry. But the way it was written, I don't know, it feels really wholesome and cheery. Like you are. Oh. I also really like the last line. I want breakfast. I need food. Trust you of all people to include breakfast in their poems. Hey, I was eating when I wrote... Ah! Cyrus suddenly stopped speaking as if she accidentally let something slip. A Freudian slip, one might call it. Oh, so he wrote the poem this morning? Huh? No! Well, maybe. You can't answer maybe to a yes or no question. I forgot to write it last night. Well, at least we know where your inspiration comes from. From needing food. Eggs and toast! Well, I suppose if it sounds silly but it works, then it isn't silly. Either way, thanks for showing me your poem, Sayori. It was really good. I'm happy you think so. Anyways, next time I won't forget. Tomorrow's poem will be even better. I'll hold you to that. And last but not least, let's see how much this is going to be the same as the original game. Hi, Daniel. Hope you've been enjoying your time here. Yeah, definitely. I probably sound like a broken record by now, but everyone's been really welcoming. Well, a broken record isn't so bad when it plays something so nice. I guess so. Anyway, since you're new and everything, feel free to bring up any questions or concerns you might have. It's my duty as president to make sure everything is perfect. I'd have to say that you've been doing a good job of that already. I doubt that I'll ever have to complain, I doubt I'll ever have anything to complain about. Either way, I'm always open to new suggestions for the club as well. So don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. She says that, but it's gonna be a bit intimidating to try and criticize Monica of all people. You know, the class star, Miss Perfect, Miss Green-Eyed Lady, Ocean Lady. I really don't think there's going to be anything I'll need to speak up about either. One of the other girls would probably say something before I ever needed to. Natsuki definitely would. Now that that's out of the way, feel like sharing your poem with me? I mean, I don't really have a choice in the matter, do I? Your mission, you have no choice but to accept it, is this. You shouldn't be thinking like that. Yeah, I was just joking. Kinda. It's alright, Daniel. I get that it's probably really awkward for you to share a creative work when you're just a beginner. And you're a pro. Oh no wait, Natsuki was the one who used to say I'm a pro. Especially since the rest of us have a bit more experience than you do. That's an understatement. Don't worry though, We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? I don't think many people out there share their poetry on a regular basis. But it's the sort of thing that you need to get used to pretty quickly once you get it over with. Or the sort of thing you get used to. Yeah, that's true. I hand my poem over with a sigh. Don't grade me too harshly. Please, Miss Monica, don't be too harsh on me. You'll be fine. I watch nervously as she quickly scans through my poem. It's a nice poem, Daniel. Huh, you think? Although I'd have to say it's a lot cuter than something I would have expected out of you. Okay, well I guess that's my cue that yes, I am doing this right. Well, I guess if the Natsuki event wasn't enough of an indicator. Is that bad? No, of course not. It's just something that I would have thought Natsuki would write, for instance. She's a good writer, so you should take that as a compliment. I see. I don't know, I guess I was in a cutesy sort of mood or something. It's like, when I was writing, I was thinking of Natsuki. It's like, she is my muse. Ah, so you have a cute side as well? Well, No, I don't watch Love Live! Okay. That's not what I was going to say, or that's not what I was trying to say. I meant that I was thinking about more cheery stuff. Kotori's best girl, fight me. Or something. I get it. But still, have you ever read anything by Shel Silverstein? He sounds familiar. Maybe when I was a kid. My mom used to take me to the library when I was little, so... Well, he wrote a lot for children, so I wouldn't be surprised if you did. He's famous for using simple words and conversation tones to tell all sorts of stories. His poems are a variety of different lengths and cover a range of different emotions. They could be funny, endearing, sad. Even though most people think of him as a children's author and poet, many of his works express universal views of the world. And he actually wrote some black comedy as well. What? So you could say that he was pretty good at subverting expectations. Take that, Rian Johnson! Okay. This is like the 4th or 5th time Well, anyways. If you're gonna give me the opportunity, I'm gonna take it. Interesting. So, is Natsuki kind of like that, then? I would say so. You could say that. She's not quite the Renaissance man that Silverstein is. But you probably won't find much filler in her poems. They may seem easy enough to read on the surface, but they can pack a lot of meaning in very few words. I see. It's definitely a type of poem that's fun to explore. Yeah, I'm sure I'll end up doing a lot of different things before I settle on my own style. And it'll be a while, and it'll still take a while before I'm completely comfortable sharing my writing. That's perfectly fine. In fact, I'd probably be more surprised if you immediately started writing with your own style. Most people go through the same process that you're going through right now. Trying new things is the best way to find the kind of style that suits you, after all. Anyway, when you talk to everyone about it, naturally they'll be a bit biased toward their own kinds of styles. After all, I know I am. But don't force yourself to write in some way just because someone else wants you to. Well, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, because that's kind of how the game works. You should try and focus on what you want to do. Feel free to ask me for help anytime, though. I try to be as objective as possible when I talk to people about these topics. Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. Understatement of the year. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? Always on duty as club president, eh? Well, let's get to reading then. The box. I see, but I don't believe. A lone fingerprint glistening on gleaming glass. Was it me? Was I always the one in the dark? I pound on the glass, my prison. Why? Why me? The pain jolts me back, the understanding pouring down like heavy rain. It's all a farce. My heart's on display. My life's but a script just playing away. The world out there had seemed so bright. It was so free, so many choices, so much potential. Maybe I could have had a chance. I realize now that there was never a choice. I was stuck in this box, and they on the other side chose for me. So pretty much an analogy of her being a video game character, having all her actions and destiny chosen, picked out for her. So, what do you think? I don't quite know how to say it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. I definitely get a certain kind of feeling from reading your poem, but I'm not sure how to put it into... Oh my goodness, I'm reading it in Monica's voice. I definitely get a certain kind of feeling from your poem, but I'm not sure how to put it into words. I can understand that. Just try to articulate it however you want. You can use metaphors outside of poetry, you know. Well, when you put it like that, I don't know. I'd have to say your poem is kind of abstract. Very vague, at least. Like, I can't quite tell what exactly you're talking about, but even so, I can feel what the speaker's feeling. Yeah, I think that describes my poem pretty well. Really? I do like my metaphors after all. Well, you'd probably be hard-pressed to find a poem without a metaphor, actually. Yeah, they're pretty well covered in English class, at least. The ability to convey emotions and concepts through words, describing things even the writer might have never experienced before. I find that really powerful. When you write metaphorically, it allows the reader to focus on the emotions of the poem. I guess it kind of opens up for the reader to have their own interpretations. Exactly. It's fascinating when people can diverge from the creator's original intent to find their own meaning in a work of art. Yeah. Was that your original intent then? I think it'd be more fun if you figured it out by yourself. That just makes me more curious now. Maybe I'll tell you one day. But for now, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Okay, let me get my notes. I can actually do this joke for real now because I have the notebook in front of me. Okay, here we go. I'm ready. Gotta write this down. Sometimes when you're writing a poem, or anything for that matter, you get too fixated on a specific point. But if you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. So the best thing to do is force yourself to get something down on the paper, then tidy it up later. And especially if you're on a computer, then you're not married to the words that you write down. Unlike if you do it with a pen. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and write whatever's in your heart. Easier said than done. I get what she's trying to say. It's better to look back on your work with fresh eyes after you've gotten something down. Sometimes. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Sailor Moon says. Fighting evil like moon. I can bring that joke back. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to momentarily save. And I will be right back. Man, I've been talking non-stop for 55 minutes at this point. Okay, well. Let's see. Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glanced around the room. That was surprisingly fun, albeit a bit stressful. I already knew that I wouldn't be able to write to the quality of the girls, but I tried my best. Everyone here is incredibly talented. Well, all the girls at least. Then there's me. Across the room, Sayori and Monika are happily chatting again. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of papers, sharing their respective poems. As I watch, Natsuki breezes through Yuri's poem, her eyes skipping over the words. Oh, here we go. Meanwhile, Yuri stares at the paper in her hands, smiling sadly. Natsuki quickly hands Yuri her poem back. Here, I'm done. Already? Yeah, it's not like it was super hard to read. I'm not illiterate, you know. Huh. It was hard for me to understand, at least. I just want to make sure that you caught all the figurative language that I employed. Yeah, I did. It was fancy. It's a little too fancy. I don't like it. Thanks. However, I believe you would enjoy it more if you looked deeper into it. I enjoyed it plenty already. Anyway, are you finished with my poem then? Yours is cute. Yep, here we go. Cute? Didn't you learn anything from our conversation yesterday? Yuri looks shocked, regret seeping into her expression. Seems like both girls still hold their own prejudices, despite whatever common ground they have. How can it be cute? You're standing there thinking that I haven't read your poem, when it's really you who hasn't read my poem. Because it's about the feeling of giving up, right? Or, well, okay, Eagles Can Fly was about giving up. It's clearly about the push and pull between giving up and trying hard. I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. Well, maybe you should look deeper into my poem. Because I use that type of language on purpose. I see. But if I may give a suggestion, these are more involved subject matters that may be better suited to more complex dictation, or diction. The art of poetry is deeply intertwined with... Look, I know what you're trying to do, but it won't work on me. I'm sorry, but I don't quite understand. Writing in this way doesn't make you look cool or smart, okay? It just makes you look super pretentious. If you write something with the thesaurus open next to you, you're just going to alienate everyone. Using all these big words to make up for lack of depth. Poetry isn't about impressing people. So you can just stop. Holy crap. I stare wide-eyed at Monika and Sayori, who have now also fallen silent. They stare back at me, looking unsure of what to do. I'm guessing that they don't usually have many arguments in the club. Although tensions between Natsuki and Yuri already seemed kind of high. A lack of depth? Yeah, that's right. So if I can give some suggestions now... Excuse me. I appreciate the offer, but I really must ask. What makes you believe that I'll accept your advice after you've been so rude to me? Huh? Rude? That was just blunt honesty. Brutal honest. Do you ever consider that other people don't hold the same opinions as you? What are you trying to say? Do I really need to spell it out for you? Yeah, you do. I want to see if you're really going there. The irony. I dare you to say it. Yuri gives a small laugh of disbelief. I must thank you, Natsuki. I've never been this angry in my life. It's actually giving me the courage to speak up. Okay, this is definitely brand new dialogue. Is this why you're angry all the time? Guys, we shouldn't. This doesn't involve you. You made Sayori cry. Sayori, please don't rob me of my moment. It's like, oh, here we are. This is Yuri's defining moment right here. So this is your moment to shine or something? Strange thing to take pride in, don't you think? No. It's my moment to finally speak my mind. Oh, it's like, Natsuki, I'm tired of taking your nonsense. While I still have the strength to. Yuri? Natsuki, have you ever realized how selfish you are? Suddenly, Yuri seems to be overpowering everyone else in the room. It's like, watch out for the quiet ones. What? Everything always needs to go your way. You always jump to conclusions and make rash decisions without regard for the consequences. And it's never your fault, is it? You don't know me. You don't know Jack. No. You don't know me either. And yet you spoke as if you knew everything about me. Quite simply, you don't. The very fact you don't know that your blunt honesty was incredibly rude just goes to show how narrow-minded you truly are. Seizing her moment, Yuri boldly carries on, disdain dripping from each word. I know it must be difficult to I know it must be a difficult concept for you to understand, but the whole world doesn't revolve around you and your manga. So tell me, why should I take advice from someone who can only see from their perspective? I guess when you put it that way, from a certain point of view, it's like, yes, when someone's locked into their own point of view and refuses to see other things, yeah. You can't be so dogmatic that you only see from one point of view. Everyone knows it. No, don't drag me into this. I said don't drag me into this. Monica, Sayori, even Daniel. Don't you remember how hostile you were to Daniel when he first joined us? I wasn't being hostile. We haven't had a new member in a long time. Sorry for not keeping on my toes. And that's how I talk to everyone, not just to Daniel. Am I supposed to change my whole personality to cater to how you think I should be? If Daniel has a problem with my jokes, he can tell me. Those were jokes? It's like, I thought you just hated me. You don't get to speak for him. Yeah, it's like, don't I get to speak for me? Yuri closes her eyes and shakes her head, carrying on as if she didn't hear the outburst. I reject your reality and substitute my own. Do you really expect a new member to be able to speak up so easily? Not everyone is unafraid of being as brutish, not everyone is as unafraid of being a brutish cretin as you. Oh, what? The rest of us were so excited to have a new member, but did that thought ever cross your mind? No, you just let your own selfish thoughts dictate your behavior. Selfish? They weren't You could have scared him off. That might have been what you wanted, but what about the rest of us? I just explained myself, for God's sakes. But as per usual, you aren't listening. You know, for someone who's been ranting on about how narrow-minded I am, you're pretty intolerant yourself. There, I used a big word. Do I sound like Shakespeare yet? Am I worthy of your attention now? Ouch. Both girls really have their claws out. One might call this a catfight. Also, Monica and Sayori didn't have any issue with me yesterday. It's just you. Of course they did, Natsuki. They just didn't say anything. Monica is too responsible, and Sayori's too kind. So why don't we ask Daniel then, as the more unbiased spectator? Well, I can't say I didn't see this coming. Fine. Daniel, who's right, me or Yuri? How did I get dragged into this in the first place? By just standing there. I don't even know what they want me to decide on at this point. Should I just ignore all the personal stuff and just keep talking about their poetry? That's what started the argument, after all. But it's not like I'm a good judge of writing quality, given that I'm just a beginner. I don't think it would be fair to me to take either side either, especially since I'm new here. Maybe I should defer to one of the club's leaders. So, of course, that's going to be... Okay, let me see. I don't even know. So in the old game, I would have had to have picked a side. Or have Sayori come in and save me. Okay, well then. Well, I guess... Okay, so this is the argument. Chose... Like I said in the last video, I'm actually taking legit notes here to make sure I'm actually doing something. Or to make sure I know what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm gonna go with my girl Sayori. I hate being put on the spot like this. Both Yuri and Natsuki are looking at me. While their hostility isn't aimed at me, I still feel like I'm the target for the anger in their eyes. It's like fire burning in their eyes. Guys, I gulp nervously as a bead of sweat trickles down my neck. I'm really not the best judge for this. After all, I'm new, so I'm painfully aware of how weak my voice sounds. Neither girl looks impressed. Wow, real help you are. Natsuki. Let me guess. Blah blah blah, you're being so rude. You're a broken record, Yuri. Shut up. Ah, so you're finally realizing how insolent you are. You got me there in the end. Well done. You're such a Stop! Okay, it's like, yeah, I did not want to have to say that word. We're all stunned into silence. I've never heard Sayori angry before, and even Natsuki looks taken aback. Okay, so this is pretty much imitating the original game bit. Well, I'll have to see if choosing Monica gives a different response. Immediately, the anger on Sayori's face is replaced by a flood of tears, the anger giving way to sadness. Seriously, look at her. Look what you did, both of you. Guys, enough of this. Please. Can't you see this arguing is tearing this club apart? You hear that? That's the sound of me face palming. Like, I was joking. I was seriously joking with that, but who knows, like, maybe Sayori is like my ideal girl in a way. Well, anyways, aside from that, you're tearing apart this club. It's like, Mom, Dad, oops. It's like, I don't know, who would be the mom or dad in this case? I don't know. No, don't even, like, what am I even starting? But please don't do this. I love this place so much, and you guys are both my friends. I hate it when people fight. It's horrible. Yup. Yeah, I guess touching back on what I lightly touched on in the previous episode, it's like, yeah, I don't like seeing people fight either. Considering I kind of had to grow up with that, and yeah, likewise, I hate seeing people fight as well. This place means so much to me, and I know it means a lot to you guys as well. So please, can we stop arguing over whose style is better? It doesn't even matter. You're both unique, and that's what counts. You are both beautiful, unique women. Yuri and Natsuki are both looking incredibly ashamed of themselves. I guess neither of them expected that their argument would hurt Sayori so much. That once raging fire has been snuffed out, replaced with smoldering embers. You know, this is kind of poetic in itself. Well, not what she's saying, what he was saying before. I really like your simple style, Natsuki. It's so nice to sit down and read a poem that springs to life. And I know the others do as well. Monica and I nod in earnest, putting a small smile on Natsuki's face. And Yuri, I'm amazed at how complex and deep her poems are. They're really in depth. But there's no need to argue over which style is better. You really can't compare them anyway. It depends on what mood you're in. It's like the saying goes, you can't compare apples to oranges. It just makes no sense. She's right, guys. Sometimes you're just in the mood for something simple. Sometimes you just might want something a bit more complex. It's like music or movies. People like a variety of things. Yeah, it's like sometimes I'm in the mood for certain songs. So when it comes up on shuffle, I might skip a song or I might leave it. You can't really say the comedy as a genre is better than action, can you? Both types appeal to different things. You wouldn't watch an action movie for the laughs, would you? Yeah, not unless it's a Michael Bay film. Okay, well, it's like I haven't said anything about Michael Bay in forever. I look over to Sayori and give her a reassuring smile. She returns with a watery smile of her own, rubbing her tears away. Don't cry anymore, Sayori. I love seeing you smile. I don't want you sad. You said it, Daniel. She turns to face Yuri and Natsuki once more. Now, you both said some stuff that was pretty mean. But I know neither of you meant it. Neither of you are narrow-minded. Although it would be nice if you could like each other's stuff a bit more. So, could you try doing that a little? Please? For me? For the club? I can't help but laugh as she puts on puppy dog eyes. I don't think she realizes the right time to use them. Sure, whatever, I'll try. Yuri takes a deep breath, finally lifting her eyes off the floor. You're right, Sayori. I'll also make more of an effort. And Natsuki? What? Natsuki still looks quite defiant, as though expecting another insult from Yuri. I apologize for what I said. Your style has its own merits. Natsuki blinks, as though slapped in the face. She clearly wasn't expecting an apology. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Your style is... She diverts her eyes downwards once more. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you write pretty well. I shouldn't have said that stuff. Me neither. There's an awkward silence. Awkward. That's much better, guys. Thank you for putting your differences aside. We all really appreciate it. I'll go and make some tea. She rushes off as Natsuki wanders over to the closet. As she's going back into the closet, I glance over at Monica, who hasn't said a word throughout the whole argument, which surprised me. I should have been the one who said all of that. Well, who knows, maybe you would have if I had chosen you instead of Sayori. Why didn't you then? Or, I'm saying that as kind of a sarcastic. Why didn't you then? I wince as my words leave my mouth. They sounded more accusatory than I would have liked. It's like, man, I know I've seen this word, but I don't even know how to pronounce it. Well, I know I'm the leader and I run this club, but I'm not the greatest with people. Well, neither am I. It's like, Monica, are you... Okay, no. It's like, I should stop saying, like, oh, maybe you and I are soulmates or whatever. I frown. If she isn't great with people, how can she run a club? Maybe because Sayori's kind of like her wingman. Kind of there to back her up, sort of. But yeah, otherwise it's almost like that's true. She must have caught the confusion on my face as she hastened to explain. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I'm fine with people. It's just their drama that I can't really deal with. Yeah, I don't like drama either. Well, that's why you have Sayori, right? Yeah, she's your wingman. Mm-hmm. She's an excellent vice president, able to deal with conflict much better than I can. It's like, I'm amazed with how Sayori is, how strong she is. Which is pretty embarrassing, at least for me. That should have been my duty to deal with, not hers. I don't blame you, seriously. I don't blame you, seriously. It was pretty tough to get involved. I could barely speak up. Yeah, it's like, I saw that. True, but that's exactly the sort of thing that a president should be able to deal with. I can't make decisions! I'm just a president! Nah, come on, Monica. Don't say it like that. You and Sayori just have different strengths, that's all. I always thought of her as a little ditzy sometimes, but she definitely has a knack for social situations. Definitely. I'm very grateful to have her as my vice president. Well, the both of you do a really good job running this place. I know that's a bit of an early assessment, but you know, first impressions and all. She smiles sweetly at me, causing my stomach to knot. It's like, ugh! My heart! Okay. You're too kind, Daniel. I'm glad Sayori brought you along to the club. I really do hope you stick around. Well, I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry, I will. Well, actually no. I don't know if I should say that. Because for all I know, there might be an ending somewhere where I do go anywhere. Monica seems like such a genuine person. And she makes a great president, regardless of what she might think. Hopefully, I'll be able to properly get to know her during the school year. I would like to hope so. Okay, everyone. It's just about time for us to leave. How did you all feel about sharing your poetry? You know, before the whole fiasco between Natsuki and Yuri. I noticed that she carefully avoids mentioning the argument that just occurred. It was a lot of fun. Some moments were worth it. It was alright. Well, mostly. Daniel, how about you? I actually really enjoyed myself. It seems I do like expressing myself through poetry, a lot more than I initially thought. Everyone looks intently at me, the girl smiling at me. Stop looking at me! It was really cool getting to see everyone's different writing styles. Okay, well, I mean, seeing all four of them smiling at me is pretty nice. That's awesome! In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. And hopefully you learned something from us too. So your poems will turn out even better. Yeah. I think to myself as I begin to pack up. Today I managed to learn a little more about the kinds of poems that everyone likes. With any luck, I'll be able to learn more about the girls as individuals through their themes and messages. Oh no, in case I mess this next part up, I nod to myself, turning to Sayori. Hey Sayori, ready to walk home? Sure! Okay, see you guys tomorrow then! As we leave the club room, Sayuri turns back to wave at the girls. I do the same. Natsuki smiles, then quickly looks away to act like she doesn't care. It's not like I care or anything. Dummy. Yuri awkwardly smiles and nods. As expected from the school idol, Monika gives a friendly grin and waves back. I mean, I guess she kind of looks like Kotori. Okay, no. Like, I'll stop talking about school idols. Sorry, about what, happened earlier. What do you mean? You know, between Yuri and Natsuki, I remember you told me yesterday that they sometimes bicker, but are all their arguments normally this bad? I feel a little guilty as I ask her, as I know I shouldn't be talking about conflict. There's a slight dip in the cheeriness of her voice as she replies. No, not at all. They have their differences, but it's the first time I've ever seen them fight like that. They're both wonderful people, I promise. You don't hate them or anything, do you? Oh no, not at all. It's only normal for people to argue, I guess. I was just curious. After all, you know them a lot better than I do. Sayuri lets out a relieved sigh. You know, Daniel, it's been so nice seeing you again. I didn't really think we'd get to spend much time with one another again. Yeah, tell me about it. It's been really fun hanging out again. I don't really know when we started drifting away, or why. I guess it was just life coming between us. She nods, looking a little reflective. Still, I'm glad you let me join your club. I'm not going to lie, at first I was a bit doubtful when you told me it was about literature. But hey, I guess it goes to show that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. So says Natsuki. She giggles, and I frown. Did I just say something funny? Haha! I made a funny! You got that one from Natsuki, didn't you? Yes. What? Oh right, she did say that yesterday. Sayuri might be known as a bit of an airhead, but sometimes she can really notice things that others don't. I wonder, what's it really like inside her head? Well, I imagine we will definitely be finding out in her route. You haven't changed at all, Daniel. You always knew how to make me laugh. Aww. It's like, I'm sorry, it's like, it's very obvious that I just really care about this girl. I'm sorry. I blush slightly. I've never really known how to react to that compliment, especially when it comes from someone of the opposite sex. I'm glad I'm still able to do that. I'll be honest though, I didn't think I'd make so many new friends by joining the club. Well, they're really a nice bunch. I'm not surprised. Yeah, a pretty warm welcome. She nods contently. Anyway, let's see what the future holds. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow. Yes. These girls are all interesting characters, aren't they? Different personalities and a variety of writing styles. Yet they're all united under the same club. I briefly wonder how Monika found all of them. You know, I'd kind of like a mod to explore that. Well, who knows, maybe there is one. Like, I don't know, Monika before story. I don't really know anything about that mod, other than I would assume that it's a prequel to DDLC. But yeah, I kind of wish I could find out, like, you know, fans' interpretations of like how they think the other girls like met each other. The only official way would be if Dan Salvato actually put out like a prequel to this, but, well, anyways. In just 2 days, I feel like I've made progress with each member. Getting to know Yuri and Natsuki, actually getting to talk to Monika a little bit, and of course, reuniting with an old friend. I never would have guessed this would all come from joining the club, but hey, I'm not complaining. Let's just hope my writing improves over time so I can write poems to a standard more like theirs. Speaking of which, there's work to be done tonight. Let's do this! Okay, yeah. That way, in case I mess up anything... Not saying that I will, but... Okay. Here we go again. Uh-oh. It's like, I don't know, am I doing this right? Uh-oh. Okay, well... It's like, okay, let's redo this. At least I can watch this again. It's like, oh no. I'm trying not to appeal to Sayori, but... Okay, let's try that again, this time with more feeling. Ah. Jump. Jump around. Oh. Massacre. Doki, Doki. Okay, well, I'm gonna hope that I did it right. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video here, so next time... Yeah, I guess. Let's see if I did it right and I got to continue on with the Natsuki route. So I'll see you guys next time. Stay golden and later, folks.